Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you a tag video that I thought was really interesting and really fun, and I've seen it on the channel Life Worth Reading, which I highly recommend, and I will link down below because it's just a fantastic booktube channel. So if you enjoy videos about books, and especially if you enjoy like TBR games, I would highly recommend this channel, so check it out. Now this tag is the intimidating TBR book tag. So we're talking about books that I haven't read yet, but I've tried to or I've been planning to, but for some reason I just have a little bit of a problem or like an issue with these books. And so yeah, there is 9 questions, and as I said, I thought it was so much fun. So let's get into these questions. So the first question is a book you haven't been able to finish, and that's really shameful, but I've been in the middle of the Turn Off the Screw and Other Ghost Stories by Henry James forever now. Like, I got this book when I had finished watching The Haunting of Bly Manor. That's what it's called, The Haunting of Bly Manor. So yeah, that has been a while ago, and I've read a couple of the stories, but some of that was so similar to what happens in the TV show that I just wasn't really interested. And so I stopped it for now, and I hope to maybe read it this October. We'll see about that. The second question is a book you haven't been able to read because you haven't had the time. And that's basically all of my TBR. I have so many books that I've been meaning to read for a long time, but I still haven't. But one that I feel like is always the one that I don't get to is Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. I've been meaning to read this in preparation for the TV show, but that has been many years ago. And I still have not read this book, and I still have not watched the show. So yeah, that's kind of sad as well. I don't really know a lot about this. I think this is historical fiction, and it focuses on a woman who has been accused of a crime. I don't know if she really committed it or not, but it's kind of her story. And this book looks massive. It is 550 pages, so it's not that bad, but yeah, it's just intimidating to me. The next question is a book you haven't been able to read because it's a sequel, and I think this is meant in a different way than I will interpret it, but I don't have any sequels where I haven't read the previous books yet, so that doesn't really work for me. So I'm gonna mention again The God of Lost Words by H.A. Hackworth. This is the 3rd book and the finale to the series, the Hell's Library series, and I have read both of the other books before this one, but I want to reread them before I get into this one, and for now that has not happened yet, and just having to reread 2 books before I get to this one is quite the challenge. So yeah, I'm really mad about it because it's one of my favorite series, but again, the time is the issue. Then the next question is a book you haven't been able to read because it's brand new. And brand new might be a bit of a stretch at this point, but it is still like a new release of the last couple of weeks. And that is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. Now, I have just finished reading The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is also why I wanted to do this tag, because for the longest reason, this has been the most intimidating book to me, and one that just hang over my head all of the time. So now I have a new one. Now I have the prequel that I can be intimidated by. But I've heard mixed things. Some people love it. Some people were quite disappointed. So I will definitely give it a go at some point. But for now, I haven't gotten to it yet. Okay, then we have a bit of a difficult question because it is a book you haven't read because you've read the book by the same author and haven't enjoyed it. And first I was like, no, if I haven't enjoyed an author, I'm not gonna pick up their next book. But then I realized that's not quite true. I do have a bad habit of like only ever reading one book by an author, no matter whether I've enjoyed them or not. But 2 examples where I would read a next book even though I was disappointed with the book that I've already read by this author. The first one is Where It Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is a book that I just think would appeal to me more. I have read Mexican Gothic and I found it to be quite underwhelming because I just don't really love Gothic fiction. So yeah, I think Velvet Was the Night might just work better for me. So that is still an option. And then we have Her Majesty Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. And I've read her like Christmassy book last year, like in 2021. And I did not like that too much. It was nice, but it wasn't the kind of like Christmas book I was looking for. It was quite dark and heavy, and I just prefer like light, fluffy Christmas books. So yeah, I would try Her Majesty Royal Coven because it looks really fun, but it's also, I think, the first book in a series, and I usually wait until all the books of a series are out before I even start reading them. So that's that. Then the next question is a book you haven't read because you're not in the mood for it. And this is Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. But this might change soon because I just put it on my April TBR for the Magical Readathon. It fit a very specific prompt, so I will just hope that I'm in the mood for it when I get to it. But yeah, this is one of those books where I don't really know whether they will make me like really angry or really sad, so I've stayed away from it even though I wanted to read it for so many years. And this is basically Handmaid's Tale but YA and a bit more recent, so I don't know. Okay, the next question is a book you haven't read because it's humongous. This is a little bit of a stand-in for the whole series, but it is The Grace of Kings by Ken Yu. Now, I also put this on my April TBR because it seems like I wanna, you know, deal with all of the intimidating books in, in the Magical Readathon. But yeah, these books are huge. Now, the first book is around 650 pages, so that's still quite okay. But the last book is, I think, 1,300 pages or something like that. So that's definitely humongous, and it is the biggest books on my TBR. So yeah, I will read these this year. I made a promise to myself, but I am a little bit intimidated. Like, what if I don't enjoy them? I don't know anyone who hasn't enjoyed them, but what if I'm like the snowflake, you know? It's strange. But yeah, this is high fantasy. I think this is Chinese inspired, like Chinese history inspired fantasy. And these covers are just so gorgeous. They're so pretty. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Okay, the next book is a bit of a stretch again. It is a book you bought just for the cover, and I never really do that. Like, I buy all of my books with the intention of reading them. But this book, I really don't know whether I will like it because the reviews I've heard are not that great. But I went to a library sale and it was the only book in the English section that I was even the tiniest bit interested in, and I do really like the cover, so I got it for €1. So that is The Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. This has something to do with planes, with like women flying planes, something like that. I just really like the cover. Like, I don't know. I don't read a ton of historical fiction right now, but this it just called to me. I just like the little plane, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether I will actually enjoy it when I get around to reading it. But I did really enjoy this cover. And then the last question is the most intimidating book on your TBR. I don't know if you're ready for this, but here it comes. It is Die Unglückseligen by Thea Dorn. This is a German book that I got as a gift. And this book combines practically everything that I am unsure about or that intimidates me. It is a book by a German author. It is a book by a kind of problematic author because yeah, she just likes to stress a lot that we always have to listen to all the sides, which I don't particularly agree with. Like, some sides are just liars, so we don't have to listen to them, but okay. And then it is huge. It's such a big book. It is also around 550 pages. And I don't know, can I get myself to read a book that I actually really don't think I will enjoy by a German author, which I usually don't enjoy, for 550 pages? I don't know. And I have no clue what this is about. I also really don't want to know. In the end, it might even interest me. So we'll see. One day I will read this. Like one day I will be in the mood to be like, I want to get this just off my chest, and then I will read it. But this day so far has not come. So these have been my most intimidating books that I currently have on my TBR. I would love to hear about some books that you eventually want to read but you're really intimidated by. That would be so fun. So leave a nice comment or a like, I would appreciate that. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!